Hello, and welcome to Living Free's Family Strategies sessions. Tonight's topic is tough times don't last, but tough people do. Having been a therapist for most of my adult life has given me a unique chance to thoughtfully observe people in good times and bad. I've watched people step up to handle challenges that they feared would overwhelm them. I've also seen people crumble in the face of what others could take in stride. The difference is not how people looked. There's no magic in a square jaw or buff bodies. The strength of a person's character must be inferred from the choices they make and the stands that they take. I've watched women mistakenly pick aggressive men thinking they were strong men. The two are not synonymous. Bullies and predators are not characterologically strong people. Yet I've met and worked with strong men in prison and in jail. I've watched people carry on through incredible stress to care for a loved one while others shirk their commitments. Watching what strong people bring to life and what others lacked when they failed to measure up, I wanted to share these observations with you. I don't claim to be comprehensive here or list all the essential traits possibly correlated with strong people. What I do want to do is to identify traits that I've seen among strong people acting successfully across a wide range of daunting life circumstances. Not everyone will have all these traits or show them all the time. The other insight from these observations is that character strength can be built with practice and in coping with stress the same way that physical strength is developed. Let me make my case. There are 8 character traits of strong people that I want to talk about. Number 1, strong people tend to have a purpose for themselves that is bigger than themselves. Having identified a purpose to which you have focused your life creates a solid foundation for personal strength. What are you about? How do you want to be seen? What do you stand for? Being able to answer these questions to yourself is crucial as a frame of reference for making hard decisions. Having dedicated yourself to a purpose bigger than you helps you to look at yourself honestly. Are you being the person that you see yourself as being? Do you have a focused agenda for living your life, for keeping your commitments, and living a life where your choices are integrated with your core values? Or do you reflexively act to the demands that life throws your way, reacting rather than proactively guiding the course of your life, the course of your choices? People who dedicate their lives to a long-term purpose also tend to have identified their personal core values. These values surface as a code of conduct which is meaningful to the person in making their deliberate choices. So let me talk about it. Core values are, what do you honestly believe is important for you to do in life, for you, a code to live by. That code can be adopted, it can be chosen. It's not necessarily built into you. But if it reflects the kind of character you wish to have, the kind of person you want to be, then those 3 to 5, 6 core values will help serve as guideposts for you in walking the path you choose to walk. These values shape our identity. The more powerful they are, the more influential they can be in shaping our choices and defining our sense of self. This is different than trying to live up to a set of values that we've been told we should have. The difference is between an intellectual commitment versus a commitment that we have passionately chosen to embrace. Lots of people are told what to believe, how to feel, and it generally doesn't hold up well during stress, during times of personal conflict. But a chosen belief is one that you have dedicated yourself to, put energy into, value, really is lasting and fundamental in being a guide for who you are and how you choose to live. A strong person takes personal responsibility for their choices. They not only own their choices, but they take responsibility for the consequences of their actions. These people don't blame others for their choices. They don't say things like, "You made me mad," or "It's not my fault. You made me do this," or "You made me do that. You made me feel this way or that way, and so I just reacted." You don't hear that in strong people. People who make comments like that are denying their own agency over their actions. You always have a choice on how you respond. Even if the choice is unpleasant or painful, you still have a choice, and the choice is yours to make. It may be intuitively obvious, but strong people do not paint themselves as powerless. They don't think of themselves that way. They don't present themselves to others as lacking power to control their lives. When you fail to take responsibility for your choices, you assume the posture of a victim regarding your own life. If you aren't responsible for the choices you make, then who is? This perspective is common in children who often have little control over their options and circumstances. However, as we mature, it's appropriate for us to own more and more responsibility for ourselves and the choices that we make. Strong people don't look for someone to blame when they don't like the circumstances in which they find themselves. They don't blame you for their moods or their feelings. They don't indulge in pity parties for themselves. I was always told that pity's only wasted when you use it on yourself. I don't mean to say that strong people never get down or feel badly about their situations. What I'm saying is that when those feelings register, strong people tend to move into action, to take steps to change their circumstances, rather than wallowing in, "Woe is me." These people are characterized by a consistent willingness to take responsibility for their own words and actions. Truly strong people tend to be aware of the impact that they have on those around them. They tend to act for effect. They're thoughtful about their words and actions rather than just reflexively spewing out their thoughts and feelings. I've seen and listened to parents tell their kids, "You made me angry," or "You made me react. I didn't want to do that, but you made me." As if the child were the dominant person in the relationship. Not true. Not true, not necessary, and not a very healthy way to raise a family. Next, strong people tend to respect their own dignity as well as the dignity of other people. Truly strong people don't need to bully others. They don't assault the self-esteem of other people. They don't need to enhance their own sense of worth by diminishing yours. A strong person isn't predatory. He or she doesn't need to manage their lives by exploiting other people or by abusing others to meet their needs. Emotionally strong people are secure in their own worth. They see themselves as having dignity and value for who they are. They believe in themselves. Not that they're not critical. They can be, but they're determined to be their best selves. They're determined to squeeze as much value out of their lives as they can. They're comfortable in their own skin and are not looking to be validated by other people. Mark Twain once said that confidence is nothing more than your reputation in your own mind. Suffice it to say that an emotionally strong person holds herself in good regard within her own mind. As a result, they aren't always looking for proof of their importance in the reaction of other people. They take their worth as a given. Strong people tend to be proud without being prideful. They can take a compliment, but don't need to fish for them. They're self-possessed. They can be demanding judges of themselves, but are unlikely to be self-abusive or self-denigrating. Part of my role as a therapist is to talk to people about loving themselves. And by that, I don't mean giving yourself extra ice cream. I mean treating yourself with dignity, treating yourself with worth. If you would denigrate somebody else for doing what you just did, then go ahead and do it to yourself. But the fact is, few of us would ever talk to other people, particularly people we care about, with the same harshness that we can abuse ourselves. It's not healthy. It's not being strong. It doesn't work. By the same token, these people can enjoy and appreciate your worth and value. Being in a relationship with them is not being in a zero-sum game. It's not like if I win, you have to lose, or if you're strong, I have to be weak. If you're smart, I have to be dumb. No, your value as a human being is wholly separate from the other person's sense of worth or effectiveness. And it's in your best interest to build your partner, to build your friends, to build the character, the self-regard, the self-esteem, the resilience of your family, as opposed to denigrating them, putting them down, and telling them constantly what's wrong with them. Another point, strong people tend to be good for their word. They live with integrity, a personal consistency between their words and their actions. Strong people are trustworthy, worthy of trust. In order to be worthy of trust, they tend to walk the talk. They manage to keep the gap between what they lead people to expect of them and what they ultimately deliver to a very narrow place. Their reputation is important to them as a matter of their own self-respect, their own self-regard. A critical factor is that these people tend to be straight shooters. Not that they are always right, but they don't come with a line of BS. These folks will do what they have said that they'll do, even if it isn't in their personal best interest. They keep commitments. They honor promises. This trait correlates with taking responsibility for yourself and your commitments. Another very important factor that I have come across in all my years of working with people is that strong people embrace and learn from their pain. I don't mean they seek it out or enjoy it, but they don't run from it. They will step up and do hard things. Realistically, they'll face what needs to be faced and not denigrate feedback because it's unflattering for them or unpleasant to hear. They aren't afraid to sacrifice for the things that they value. Strong people are not likely to whine or complain that life is hard, unfair. They don't expect everything to come easy. It can be summed up in a phrase, the only easy day was yesterday. It's a phrase that helps you build strength and resilience and the fact that you can carry on in the face of adversity. People who hide from their pain, people who work to avoid feeling their pain, experiencing their pain, are robbing themselves of the motivation to grow, to change, and to evolve. When our primary goal is not feeling pain, then we stop our life force from flowing freely in directions that it needs to take. What we're doing is truncating it. What we're doing is putting ourselves in an emotional cul-de-sac where we don't feel pain at the moment. But generally that's at the cost of true joy, of intimacy, of satisfaction, of competence. So embrace your pain, learn from it. It's nature's gift to tell you that something's not working, something's not right. You need to take action, change your tactics, change your strategies. And it's a spur for positive adaptation, to move, to grow. There's a difference between having needs and being needy. All living things have needs. An amoeba has needs. A puppy has needs. Even a Marine has needs, even if it's only for more ammunition. But the fact is, we all have needs. And strong people know this and can help and support each other. This is an advantage that teamwork brings. Own your feelings. Treat them with integrity. Step up and do what needs to be done, even if it's going to hurt. Don't pretend you don't need anything, that you're totally self-contained. Human beings aren't made to be totally self-contained. It's an anomaly and it's unhealthy. Being needy means you're asking other people to take care of you, to carry some of your burden, to carry some of your needs, to meet your requirements. Well, that's your job to manage your life. The fact is, we can give each other a timeout, we can give each other a break during a personal crisis, during an illness, during a trauma of some kind. We could step in and excuse people of their responsibilities. But ultimately, we expect that you'll get better. You'll use that time to heal and to step back into harness, take on your own responsibilities, and live your life with integrity. People who are needy, with a capital N, tend to abuse other people by making others responsible for my needs, for my happiness, for my satisfaction, for my sense of well-being. No, nobody can do that for you. You have to do it for yourself. But admitting to yourself that you need those things is an essential element of being strong and crafting the life you want to live. Next, strong people are self-disciplined. They're self-control, self-motivated. They see the power to affect their lives as residing inside themselves and their choices. They don't look to others to do it for them, nor do they expect others to motivate them. These people tend to have their goals, and they work hard to achieve them. They connect, working for what you want, applying yourself, dedicating effort in a constructive fashion to successfully having outcomes that you wish to experience. These people are able to focus their efforts and do what needs to be done. There are two components to self-discipline. The first is to be able to make yourself do things that you don't want to do because you know that they are good for you to do. Like eating your vegetables or making your bed. The second is to be able to resist doing things that you might want to do because you know those things are inherently not right for you, not good for you. They're not healthy choices for you to make. Strong people can master these disciplines, and they wind up having control of their life run through their brain rather than their emotional reactions. They're cognitively aware. They're strong and focused and determined and can use all of that mental energy that you abandon when you just operate on pure feeling. Next, strong people will own their own feelings. They process them in a healthy manner. Feelings are a body's way of marshaling your attention and provoking you to action. They're not a sign of weakness any more than a check engine light is a sign of a dysfunctional car. No, it's a warning sign. Something needs to be taken care of. There's something here that's not going right. It's not going according to plan. And this is our body's way, our subconscious way of reminding us with a feeling that we need to take action. People who feel that expressing feelings is a weakness never bother to check the engine, never bother to change the oil. They just think it's smarter, stronger, healthier to gut it out and push it to the max. We know ultimately those people tend to break emotionally or in terms of the relationships, the quality of their relationships, or just their availability to be intimate with other people. The obvious example is fear. You can't be brave unless you are first afraid. That fear should capture our attention and focus our efforts to get what we want at a manageable price. Being cautious or being prepared doesn't mean you give up the goal. It means that you're going about taking action using your whole brain. Emotions alert us to engaging our higher intellectual functions to solve situations life puts in front of us. Strong people do that. People who simply deny that they're feeling emotions, usually those are emotions where we feel insecure or vulnerable, but denying them does not enhance our long-term effectiveness. I liken it to having a bowel movement. It might be awkward. The timing might suck. It may not fit into your plans. However, it's a naturally occurring process, and it's going to manifest itself eventually. Your choice is to handle it expeditiously or wait and be surprised when it happens on its own. Being able to endure negative emotions and instincts is not unhealthy. It's a natural ability, but it's only healthy to the extent that we deny dealing with the cause until a more advantageous time for ourselves. We can defer that action. We can endure. We can live with it temporarily as part of a strategy, not as the strategy. Strong people also look to improve themselves. Whether it's a physical illness, skill acquisition, intellectual knowledge, strong people look for ways to improve themselves. They're open to new ideas. They seek input and direction from people they trust or respect. That doesn't always mean they'll listen to any bozo, even if it's a bozo with positional power. What it means is they aren't afraid to seek new information or to look at themselves through someone else's eyes in order to gather information to solve a complex problem. They build their problem-solving skills. They seek to make connections between novel situations and elements from their past. They work to understand the parameters of success in solving new problems. Excuse me. What does a successful solution look like now, in the future? What's the payoff? What's the price for doing it the way you choose to do it? Strong people know how to break big problems down into digestible bites. They look for the good solution and then adapt depending on what happens, rather than being frozen into inaction because they don't have a perfect solution. They tend to be more about results than appearance. Psychological strength can be built just as physical strength can be developed. If we understand the elements, we can build the habits and routines. I hope this gives you some ideas about character traits of strong people. Look for them in yourselves. Nurture those. Consider what we've talked about here tonight and develop habits and practices that sustain the choices that build the traits. Thanks for listening.